Well, Happy New Year and welcome everyone. What this series of videos is going to be, and my plan at this point is just to go about 5 days a week through the month of January here at the beginning of the year to accomplish one task, and that is to help anybody out there who would love to engage personally with the Bible, but has struggled to do it or doesn't know how to do it, or just is kind of in that spot where they maybe even tried before and not gotten very far. That's what this is about. And the reason for it is there's a few. One, in 2018, my chief lesson that I learned, I had a good year in the overall, but the lesson that I learned through a number of different things, I attended a lot more funerals than I typically do. One of them was my dad. I really appreciated on a whole new level the simple but most important lesson is the most important thing in life is a living, breathing, growing, and deepening relationship with Jesus. I mean, I appreciated that on levels that I've never had before. And I'm convinced of all the different things that we can do in our lives that that is the single most important thing that anybody can have and anybody can do is a living, breathing, growing, and deepening relationship with Jesus. Well, I've quoted this many, many times through One Life's history. There was a research project called the Reveal Study that was done many years ago that set out to find out, okay, if you wanted to make that your goal, if you want to increase in your love for Jesus and follow him and all that, what are some of the practices that help with that? What are the things that we do that actually result in that? And they found that far and away the best, not the only, but the most effective practice that you can do to achieve that end is personal engagement with the Bible. Now, I'm not talking just about reading it. I'm talking about prayerfully reading it, for reflecting on it, that kind of stuff. They found that it was far and away the best practice. Not the only, but the best. Well, over my Christmas break, I was going through my Twitter feed, and I noticed that Lifeway is, they're a publishing arm and a research organization. Lifeway had done a similar study over a 10-year period. They were kind of wanting to know what's the most effective thing, and they reached this exact same conclusion. They said people engaging with the Bible personally is the number one thing because it leads to other practices like giving and prayer and serving and going and sharing your faith. And then while I was researching both of those projects, I found a third. Another organization did an 8-year project. I don't know why they're not talking to each other. Maybe they do, but they did it on their own. Maybe they didn't believe the others, but they did one and they concluded the exact same thing. So, point is, the data is in. If you could choose one practice to get to the one single most important thing in all of life, it would be to personally engage with the Bible, prayerfully, thoughtfully. Okay, so that's what this is for, to help us all get to that place. So, a few things. This is all introductory. So, number one, it is low production. I am literally sitting here in my office and just going to put it up there and post it on my Facebook page and put it on YouTube. If it is useful to you, great. If it's not, great. It's designed to be coaching. It's not like we're not going to go like in depth, digging into Greek word kind of stuff into a Bible study. We'll do some of that but it's all for the end of showing you how to do that for yourself. Because the goal is at the end of the month that you'll feel confident to go ahead and you'll establish a lifetime practice. That is the end that I'm going for. Now, one note, I would love for you to be able to interact. I am going to give my email address. It is Brett Nicholson. I spell my name with one T, Brett Nicholson at onelifechurch.org. Now, put in the subject line, Daily Bible Coaching, and ask a question about what we're talking about. And I will try to answer questions in this format. I don't think I'll have time to write back or any of that kind of thing. I've got other things that need to be done as well. So you can go to Brett Nicholson at onelifechurch.org and please be on topic, and I'll try to answer in this format because I want it to be interactive. But what I'm going to do is just a daily thing. I'm going to try to keep these under 10 minutes. And we are going to be actually going through a few different books of the Bible in a short period of time to give real-time coaching. But let me give you the first and most important rule, I believe, that will fuel this practice of getting into the Bible for yourself. And it's this. It's taken from 2 Timothy, the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3, verse 16, where it says, all Scripture is God-breathed and is useful for teaching, rebuking, correcting, training in righteousness, so that the servant of God may be thoroughly equipped for every good work. The key ingredient to making Bible engagement something that's, something you can do and something you'll pursue and something you'll be interested in and you'll be vibrant about, I believe it's really getting that inside your heart and inside your mind. That all Scripture is, number one, it's God breathed, and number two, it's useful. Okay? So, and you have to ask yourself the question, do you believe that? Do you believe this thing is God breathed? Or is it just an ancient book that's filled with a lot of ancient ideas you don't really get, you don't really understand, it's kind of strange, it's kind of boring to read at times, it's all those things. If I'm convinced that it's God breathed, that God wanted this stuff here, I'll look at it different. Now, I don't know where you are on that belief scale, and you need to figure that out for yourself. On a scale of 1 to 10, when it comes to the Bible, do I believe most of it was God-breathed? Any of it was God-breathed? Am I a 1, like I don't even know I'm watching this video? Or you're a 10, I'm already there. You need to kind of come to the conclusion about that. And that doesn't mean you can't read it if you're a 6 or if you're a 3. It doesn't make any difference. But I think it's good to kind of note where you are, and it's okay to say if you're a 4 or a 6 or whatever. You don't have to be a 10. But you want to move towards a 10, because I do approach the Bible because I really do believe that the God, the maker of the universe, wanted those words that are there to be there. And therefore, they're of interest. Because if that's, think about that, if that's really true, then we should want to go there. The God of the universe, the one who made my brain cells, the one who, put together trees and animals and plants and being able to walk and talk and do gravity and all that, He's the one that put those words there. If that's really, really true, then it is something that's going to grow me and stretch me and push me and help me and build me. It's going to be worth going to. Now, that's the first thing. But the second thing is like it. It's useful. It's all useful. And, because there's going to be parts of the Bible that aren't going to feel useful at all. But if you believe that in advance and you find it's not useful, you'll start thinking, well, if I'm not seeing the usefulness, the problem's on my end. If God really did breathe this out and He said it's useful, I'm just not seeing the use yet. That's kind of like all discoveries when you think about it. Every plant out there, and some believe that there are plants out there, the ones that don't seem to have any use at all now, they discover later can help cure diseases or whatever else. But explorers, people who really believe that there's use out there, they'll keep going. There has to be something that this can do and should do. And it says it's useful for teaching, correcting, rebuking, and training in righteousness. So its end is not just to make you smarter. It's not to make it where you're able to, win some Bible trivia thing. The end that the Bible is going for is to train you in righteousness, right living, right thinking, right believing, right perspective. That's what its goal is. So if you're convinced of that, then you can go into the Bible and you'll have a lot more time. But now, if you are not convinced of that, the first step really needs to be reflect on that. Why? What are my hang-ups? And there's, at One Life, we're real big on, then that's a question you can make. If you have a hang-up with the Bible, well, talk to me about it, or research something. What are your hang-ups? Define what they are. I struggle with the Old Testament, or I struggle with whether Jesus really, rose again from the dead, or whatever else. Define your doubts and start going with that. But still engage with the Bible, because I think also, with the Bible, it kind of carries with it its own authority. And sometimes we don't believe the Bible because of what we think it says, not what it actually says. And that's a very good thing to remember. So gauge yourself where you are on that, because I think it's the most important ingredient. If you're not all there, kind of think in your mind, I'm going to try to go from a 6 to an 8 or a 3 to a 5 or whatever else. So that would be the first and most important ingredients. And remember, it's useful. And what we're going to do starting tomorrow is we are going to go, and this is going to be my format, we are going to go to the shortest books of the Bible to engage in them. We're going to start in 2 John tomorrow. Thanks.